Hey, Christview. It's Tuesday afternoon. I just thought I'd give you some thoughts, kind of just to keep you level-headed, to keep you focused on what's important as we kind of go through these weird times as a country right now, and kind of go through this weird time in history. So I just was reading scripture today, and I came across a couple of scriptures I thought made a good point and would kind of put things in perspective for us, which we constantly need to be doing in these times of panic, where people are just kind of getting a little irrational and can't see a light at the end of the tunnel, and just kind of in a constant panic state, which isn't healthy for anyone. And so I read these couple of scriptures, and I thought they were really good. So I just want to read them to you. The first one comes from James chapter 4. And here's what James writes in verses 13 through 15. He says this: "Look here, you who say, today or tomorrow we are going to a certain town, and we will stay there a year. We will do business there, and we will make a profit." And so what he's talking about here is people who make long-term plans and go, I'm in control of everything. I have control of this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a profit here because I kind of know how things are going to play out from point A to point B. And then he says this in verse 14. He says, "How do you know what your life will be like tomorrow? Your life is like the morning fog. It's here for a little while, and then it's gone." So he just makes a point that we have no idea what tomorrow is going to be. We have no idea how things are going to change from one day to the next. And then he says this in verse 15. He says, "What you ought to say is, if the Lord wants us to, we will live and we will do this or that. Otherwise, you're only boasting about your own pretentious plans, and all such boasting is evil." So what James is telling us as Christians is this: is we need to be careful about making long-term plans and thinking that we are in control of everything and that we know how everything's going to play out, and we can make step A happen and step B happen and step C. And he goes, you don't know what tomorrow's going to be like. So stop trying to make all these long-term plans thinking you control it all. And instead, as Christians, what you ought to say is, the Lord willing, I would like to do these things. I'd like to see this happen, but it depends on circumstances. It depends on what happens in the world. And Lord willing, I'd like to do these things. But at the end of the day, I need to do what God calls me to do, because he wraps it up in verse 17 by saying this: "Remember to sin to know what you ought to do and then not do it." And the point he's making is this: when we make our own plans, when we think we're in control of everything, and then things go a little bit out of control, or God asks us to do some things that seem out of control or out of the bounds of what we wanted to do, oftentimes we will go with our own plans rather than what God desires. And we need to be very careful in times of panic. We need to be very careful in times like these, that we don't get caught up in a panic where we stop being the people God called us to be, because we feel uncomfortable with it. We feel like I got more important things to do. At the end of the day, no matter what's happening in the world around us, we are called to be the people God calls us to be, and we need to be focused on that. So the other side we can look at this too is with leadership, as we see a lot of leadership in our country right now on the state levels and local levels, of people making plans of what's going to happen for the next 3 months and already determining this is how it's going to play out. This, and in honesty, as a leader and stuff like that, as a church and over people and making leadership decisions, it's foolishness. Right now, who knows what tomorrow will hold? We live in America. Who knows? Somebody tomorrow could come up with something that treats this virus, and it has very good results. And then all of a sudden, everyone goes, oh, hey, you know what? We got a treatment for it now, and this is the way we treat patients, and everything kind of starts to go back to normal fairly quickly. Weather could change, and maybe that affects the virus and different things like that. And the point of that being is this: a lot of people are in a state now of going, we're in trouble for 6, 8, 10 months, 12 months. Everything's going to be just like this. Everything's going to be locked down. Everything's going to be crazy. And going, you know what? You don't know what tomorrow holds. Tomorrow could be a completely different picture. And who knows what that holds. So as a church and as a leadership, we will make decisions on a day-to-day basis depending on what the circumstances is. And in prayer, taking time to make sure we're praying about and going, look at today's situation, looking at tomorrow's potential situation, and what God desires for us. What will we do? So just keep that in mind. You can apply the same thing to your life. Stop listening to all the doomsayers and all the people who are in constant panic and it's all, the world's going to end. That's not what's going to happen. Nobody knows what tomorrow holds, and tomorrow could be a totally different picture. And so that's what I hold out in hope. That's what I always try to do, is just be a realist about it and just take one day at a time. Another scripture I want to read to you real quick to kind of wrap this up comes from Matthew chapter 6, verse 27. And it's a very simple scripture. It just says this, and Jesus is talking about how the people of this world panic over everything. They're constantly trying to get everything and panic about things and are worried about things. And he just says this: can all of your worries add a single moment to your life? Can all of your worries add a single moment to your life? And the answer to that obviously is no. All the worrying does, all the panic does, is it destroys your ability to live life now, destroys your ability to enjoy life now. So no matter what your circumstances are right now, don't worry about everything. Stop panicking about what's coming tomorrow. Have fun today, enjoy today, spend time with your family, spend time doing whatever you have to do, and do it with the best of your ability, do it in a way that honors God, and stay focused on that. And guess what? Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up again and you'll do the same thing. And you do the best that you can to honor God with what you can do, and honor the people you work for, the people that you're around, and do the best work you can do. And through that, we're being the people that God calls us to be. So don't get caught up in a panic. Don't get caught up in the everything's falling, the world's falling apart, and everything like that. Who knows how things change tomorrow, and whether everything ends tomorrow or everything gets good tomorrow or 2 months from now or 3 months from now or 2 weeks from now. No matter how that is, it doesn't change what we are called to do as Christians, and that is to live the life God has called us to today. And tomorrow will worry about itself. Tomorrow will take care of itself. So hopefully just some words of encouragement, some things to just keep things in perspective and keep you calm and keep you focused on doing the things that God calls you to do, so we continue to be the light of the world in this community. We'll have some updates later in the week of what we'll be doing this weekend, if we have service or how we handle any of that stuff. So we are constantly, as I said, day by day, thinking about those things and trying to figure out what's correct, what's right, what's biblical, what honors God, and different things like that, and weighing all those different things. And we will figure that out, and we'll let you know by Friday how all that will work. So have a great day, and I will hopefully see some of you soon. So take care.